Good day, everyone. My name is Ade Katelwe, and today we'll be celebrating the World Forestry Day. The International Day of Forestry celebrates and raises awareness on the importance of forests. On this day, countries are encouraged to undertake local, international, and national efforts to organize activities. This day was established by United Nations General Assembly. Thank you. With me here today are two awesome foresters. By my right, I have Miss Rotimi Yetunde, who will be enlightening us on forest. And by my left, I have Mr. Segun Michael, who will be talking about forest restoration. So let's start with Miss Rotimi.
Hello viewers, I'm Ms. Yetunde Rotimi. I graduate of Forestry and Wildlife from the University of Ilorin, Kwara State, Nigeria, and a prospective graduate student. I'll be enlightening you on what forest means generally and particularly in Nigeria. So when we talk about forest, what do we actually mean? I know to our viewers, most of what usually comes to the mind when we hear the word forest is a source of timber products, where we often get our products for construction and furniture works. But more than that, the forest can also be seen as a myriad of biodiversity. But more than that, a forest can also be seen as a myriad form of biological diversity. You know, more than just having our timber products in the forest, we have our various plant species, we have animal species, we have herbs, we have shrubs, and etc. Also, a forest can be described as a home for indigenous people. You know, the forest in itself, it provides benefit for more than 1 billion people in the world today, and we have most of our rural dwellers and our local people residing in these forest areas, and not just residing there, they benefit from the various services that are being generated from this forest. So more than just seeing a forest as a source of timber products, it can also be seen as a myriad of biological diversity. Also, a forest can be described as a repository for carbon storage. What do I mean by this? You know, most of our trees, they tend to absorb carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, and they store it as carbon stock through the process known as carbon sequestration. So with this, they help to mitigate climate change and reduce the effects of global warming. Also, our forests can also be described as a source of multiple ecosystem services. You know, we have different forms of ecosystem services, such as the provisioning services, the cultural services, etc. From the various products that are being derived from the forest, they produce each and all of these services. So when we talk about forest, what are the importance or the benefits that can be derived from forest? Just as I've said earlier on, the forest tends to provide ecosystem services. You know, I was being opportune when I was in the undergraduate level to carry out a research work which was based on the assessment of ecosystem services provided by trees on farmland, and I was able to assess provisioning services and cultural services. From these, I was able to verify various services such as food, fodder, shelter, and shades that are produced by trees that are being found on farmland. Many farmers attested to the fact that the trees on their farmland, when leaves drop from these trees and decompose, they help the crops, the agricultural crops, to germinate. Like the agricultural crops use them as manure, which they use for their germination processes. Also, some of these farmers attested to the fact that these trees help to provide shade to some of the agricultural crops and to themselves. And also, more than this, I was able to also discover certain cultural services that are being provided by these trees that were being identified on farmland. Take for instance, we have the Nubodia levates, otherwise known as the tree of life, which in my local dialect is being called Ewe Akoko, and this is basically used during chieftaincy, you know, for crowning of kings. And we have other diverse services that are being produced by the forestries. Also, forest is important, just as I said earlier, for combating climate change. They tend to absorb carbon dioxide from the atmosphere through the process known as carbon sequestration. and they store it, they store it in their roots as carbon stock, thereby helping to mitigate against climate change and global warming. Also, we have our forests playing a crucial role in poverty alleviation. Just as I said earlier on, we have more than 1 billion people in the world today, directly or indirectly depending on the forest. Most of the benefits or most of the products that are being generated from this forest are usually being sold out by local people to generate income for themselves and their household. And not just that, most of these products serve as food which are being consumed personally by our rural dwellers.
Thank you very much. That was very good.
Thank you very much.
Ms. Yetunde, can you tell us the present state of the Edumano forest reserve?
Okay. If you are talking about forest reserve generally, we have Onigambari Forest Reserve, we have Oluwa Forest Reserve, we have, just as you mentioned, Edumano Forest Reserve. This Edumano Forest Reserve is actually located in the Niger Delta part of Nigeria. And this reserve presently is deteriorating and it has been degraded by the action of oil production industries, by their various activities. And with this, it has made most of our wildlife to be seriously endangered and threatened, and some of them have gone into extinction presently.
Presently, is there anything being done towards the...
Yes, there are some activities that are being put in place just to help to eradicate these challenges, but there's a need to make this effort, like to increase this effort so that these problems or these challenges can be eradicated completely.
Michael, welcome.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon once again. My name is Segun Michael, and I am a graduate of Forestry and Wildlife from the University of Ilorin, and also a graduate student of the University of Ibadan. I'm currently studying Forest Biometrics and Information System. And I'll be speaking on the theme, which is forest restoration, a path to well-being and recovery. So, what is forest restoration? Forest restoration can be seen as the process of improving the health and productivity of the life of the forest. However, it is a complex process which cannot fully bring back the whole forest to its original state. However, studies by the International Resource Institute stated that forest restoration should not just be seen as replanting of trees. However, it should be seen as a process of restoring degraded landscapes, landscapes that are deforested, landscapes that are also underutilized. And we need to also look at the current state of our forest in Nigeria. Currently, according to studies, it has been shown that Nigeria is the 11th most biodiverse country in Africa, with over 4,600 plant species that have been identified. However, studies have also shown that Nigeria is currently experiencing a decline. Since the year 1985, Nigeria has also experienced a decline, a steady decline in deforested areas. Studies by Razak in 2019 also suggested that in 2017, over 171 kilometers per hectare of trees were lost to forest degradation. And when we look at the map of the Akure Forest Reserve over there, we have the historical images of Akure Forest Reserve. As at 1985, you observe the level of greenness that the forest area had. But moving across to 2005, you also see that there are patches of brown areas in the forest reserve, which is indicative of illegal logging that has taken place over the years since the year 1985 up to the year 2005. And when we move down to 2015, you also observe that there is a lot of patches of brownness, which is indicative of high rate of deforestation. And when we also look at the communities that are living around forest areas, you also observe that communities are beginning to settle down in forested areas of the country, and which has also led to the loss of biodiversity. And the forest also plays a very important role in the face of the pandemic. Healthy forest plays a key role in reducing the risk of future pandemics. A loss in forest cover results in reduction of buffer zones that separates humans from animals or the pathogen that they carry, and which may in turn cause an outbreak of diseases. And in 2016, it was stated that 60% of all infectious diseases in humans and 75% of all emerging infectious diseases are zoonotic, that is the transfer of pathogens from animals to humans. There are also challenges associated with restoring the forest in Nigeria, and one of the key problems associated with restoring forests in Nigeria has been the rising level of insecurity. You know, it's funny, when I was reading a publication of recent, and it was stated that community dwellers living around the forest were actually clear felling trees so as to have a clear view of when threat is coming their way, which is a very pathetic situation. And the cost of restoration also is also a problem. The way forward for us now is to actually think of a way of incorporating the indigenous people that are actually depending on this forest for their livelihood, to incorporate them into our restoration plans. Funds should be made available to restore degraded lands, and we should also try as much as possible to eradicate corrupt practices within all of our activities. This can only be made possible when we are intentional about our restoration programs. So thank you very much.
You mentioned something about forest degradation and deforestation. Can you tell us the difference between the two?
So forest degradation can be seen as the reduction in the capacity of the forest to bring it to give the goods and services, while forest deforestation is the clear felling of trees for other purposes.
Okay, give us examples of this.
Okay, for instance, forest degradation occurs when the people in the local community, when they want to harvest, they harvest in an unsustainable manner, whereby the people, those that are also dependent on that forest, are not able to also harvest when they are actually needed. While deforestation is actually the clear felling of a forest for other uses, such as agricultural land and buildings and all that stuff.
What are the drivers of the forest degradation?
Just like I stated earlier, one of the main drivers of forest degradation has always been climate change, and also studies have also shown that the way and manner in which these community dwellers harvest these products from the forest has also resulted in degradation of the forest.
Thank you very much, Ms. Yetunde.
You're welcome.
And Mr. Michael.
Thank you very much.
So to everyone out there, we have all heard about forest and the importance of forest in our society. So we'll meet again next time. My name is Adine Kato.